Want to take some time to welcome those out there on the platform. We are discussing this evening how to thrive during this crisis. You know, we are in a crisis, and we have with us live on set Pastor Stephen Williams, and we are really happy to have him. We just want to take the time to welcome Jemlyn Perry, those who I'm seeing, Erica, Maureen, Grant, Sandra, Grant Lewis. That's my dear wife, Crystal, Tiffany, Amelia. We just want to welcome you. People are in the back end, not seeing the names as yet, but we welcome you to the broadcast this evening. I do hope that this broadcast will be beneficial for you. It would help you in the times that we are living in. Let's come back to Pastor Williams. Pastor Williams, I looked up the word crisis. I
Mm-hmm.
personally went and looked up. I looked at the word crisis. It means a time of intense difficulty,
Mm-hmm.
trouble, or danger. Are
Mm-hmm.
we living in a time now, a time of intense difficulty, trouble, or danger? What you don't want to talk about that a little bit?
Wow. Let me tell you something. As I said earlier, our world has changed. Now you
Mm-hmm.
imagine a lot of businesses have locked down.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of persons have lost their jobs. These persons may get a little support from the government, but it's just temporary.
Yeah. Right.
Now, if you have a lot of debt, if you have a mortgage, if you have credit card debt, if you have a car debt, if you have all these student loans, you name it, furniture, you went and trust them, but you have lost your job. That's a
Mm-hmm.
crisis because you can't pay back your creditors. That's a crisis. The next thing, we're told to stay indoors. That's a crisis because indoors it's not how God made us. He made us to go outside and breathe the fresh air,
Hug each other, talk with
hug
each
each
other.
other, see people's face, etc. Uh, Many of us are asked to wear a mask on our jobs. That's a crisis because too much exposure to constantly breathing in their second-hand breath than carbon dioxide over a protracted period of time, I think that can be a problem.
Right.
So we are in and it's mandatory now when you're going in
Mm-hmm.
certain jobs or certain stores, etc. You've got to conform whether you like it or not. So that is a problem. Then we have people seeing so much of each other, getting in husband, getting. I mean, the other day I went in a mall when this thing just started, and I about it was about a second lockdown, and I interviewed a lady, and she said she's having a lot of problem now with her husband that she never normally had because now they're seeing each other every day, and it's
Okay,
creating.
Pastor, we'll be coming to that shortly. Don't go.
Okay,
Don't. We'll be coming to that shortly. So,
all right.
folks out there in the virtual space, we have with us this evening for those who have just jumped on the broadcast, Pastor Stephen Williams, and we are discussing the times that we are living in, how to thrive during this crisis. And we know we are in a crisis.
Mhm,
We are in a pandemic, and it's very challenging. This is not the normal that we are accustomed to. We are in a
mhm,
new normal, and he'll be sharing his take on the story and his advice to how we can thrive through, I should say, this crisis that we are living in. Welcome to those who have just joined the program. I'm seeing Myrtle Pilgrim Edwards, and also I'm seeing Magazine Allen, and there are others on the back end, not seeing the names as yet, but welcome you to this broadcast this evening. You can also type your question. If you do have a question, you can put it in the chat box, and I would surely ask that question to Pastor Williams. Let's get back to our regular programming here now. Pastor Williams, we are in a real crisis. We are in an era in our lifetime where people are frustrated. People do not know what to do. They are coming up against a lot of problems and issues that is going on in the world today. We have four important points to discuss for the next, I think, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And the first one is loss of jobs.
yes.
Lost of job. Many people lost their jobs because of the pandemic and what's
Mhm.
happening. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, for persons who have lost their job, it's not the end of the world. That's the first thing I want to say. there is always hope once you're alive. Once there's life, there's hope. What people need to understand, they need to learn new skills. Did you know that a lot of companies are thriving more than ever before using and utilizing e-commerce? So if you can get yourself a course on e-commerce, you can start an online business. And I know the competition is there, and there's a lot of skills and know-how. If you master them, you can still make it online. So yes, you have lost a job, but now you're home. You can learn a new skill, and I would like to, if you allow me, to recommend a site. I'm not, it's sponsored by them or anything, but I find them to be very helpful. It's called Udemy, Udemy. There are so many little courses, anything that you want to learn. They have courses that you can take very cheap. Like I'm talking about like $20, $30. So for those who don't know it, is Udemy. So there are things that you can do to cope. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
don't it's not the end of the world. And learn like online stuff like it can be an Amazon store that you set up. Learn the art of setting it up, learn the art of making money on Amazon. There's so many numerous things that you can do. So don't feel that, okay, I lost my job, it's the end of the world, I don't know what to do. Don't throw up your arms in the air and give up.
But what about those in the Caribbean? We out here in North America, we can strive a lot by Amazon because we have it right here on our fingertips. You know, it's right here. But there are people in the Caribbean might be saying right now, oh, they are living in North America. It's easy for them up there. What about us down here, down folks down there in the Caribbean? What's your suggestion for them?
Um, Remember this, the internet is global.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you and I sitting here, I'm in my bedroom, you're in your studio. People are seeing us all over the world if they tune in. So it does not mean so that means that people can, it doesn't matter where you are, you can do something on the internet because it's
That's right.
global. So normally when you start a little business before the internet, it's usually just local. Now you're global. You
That's
just
right.
need to learn how to maximize, learn the what you call search engine optimization, how you can get your stuff out there. You know, there are so many. You can use YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the beauty about these things, they're free. You know, there's so many things that you can learn. And YouTube is a university in itself because there are
That's
so
right.
many things you can say. How do I make money online? There are thousands of ways they'll show you.
That's right. The course that he talked about there, the site is you can find it on the chat box there. That's Udemy. It's in the chat box. You can pull it up.
MY.
Udemy. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
in the chat box. You can pull it up online and see what you can find. You might be able to find something that would help you out wherever you are living around. Wherever you are living around the world. Let's go to our next question, Pastor. The stress of online learning. You're a man. You have three
Oh
kids,
yeah.
right? And parents now, a lot of parents now do not know nothing about online learning. You know, the computer, the children do.
Yeah.
And what is your experience with online learning with your kids?
Okay, so I have two boys that lives with me right now, Matthew and Jordan. One is
Mm-hmm.
13, one is 8. The 13-year-old one seemed to be very comfortable just sitting in his settee and just logging on, listening to teacher. He's okay. The smaller one, however, at first I noticed there was uh, agitation. He was very agitated. Sometimes we're going out in the vehicle to buy ice cream or going somewhere because I try to take them out regularly to for if it's for a little drive out. That's what I do almost daily. to get their brain,
Mhm.
outside of just the computer. But I noticed that when he's in the car, he doesn't speak and he was so withdrawn. I don't know what my wife did of his, I don't know what happened. I honestly can't put my finger on it. But from the other day, he has just been alive. He came alive. And
Mhm.
I try to instill in him that, look, I check upon him every now and again. I said, make sure you do the 2020 rule, Jordan. For every 20 minutes, you look at the computer, you have 20 seconds, rest your eye, look out in the distance because our eyes were not made to just look on a
Focusing.
screen. It was
Mhm.
made to look way out in the distance. So I try to instill that in him and try to limit his. And I told him one of my rule is as soon as class is over, you would have spent 6 hours on that computer. You need to put it down. No, no phone, no more computer for the day. TV, yes. Outside playing your ball, yes. But that's it. So I try to limit his screen time.
I talk with a couple of parents in regards to this online learning, and most of them are so frustrated.
Yes.
They're looking for help. So
Yeah.
anyone out there, you might have a neighbor with children. They do not know much about the computer. You might be able to give some help. People are so frustrated just by the online learning thing. We who know about the computer, we can manage our way around it, but there are literally parents who do
Yes.
not know nothing about the computer, and it's frustrating to them.
Yeah.
I know a mom with about 5 kids, and I normally call a teacher.
Wow.
When I call her in the course of the day, I normally said, "Hey, teach, how are you doing?" She said, "Baxter, oh, it's frustrating, but she's trying to walk along with it.
Yeah.
She's trying to get into
Yeah.
it and so on."
Yeah.
And what can you say to those parents?
I empathize with them, honestly, because I feel it too. I feel it too. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really, I'm just doing this thing. My wife has asthma, so she doesn't want them to go to school and expose us to the
Mm-hmm.
virus. I would probably by myself, I would just say, okay, I'll take the risk. But my wife
Mm-hmm.
is very cautious because of that asthma. So
Right.
she basically, we have decided to keep them home.
Mm-hmm.
Parents who are having difficulty with the online thing, a lot of these kids, though, what I find, they are sharp. They know more than you and I.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as they get good instructions on how to log on and how to submit their work, it shouldn't be a big problem. I don't find myself, as a matter of fact, my son sometimes helps me. He's so sharp on the computer. I can't believe up
Mm-hmm.
to today he was helping me with this very Zoom. Well,
Right.
we're not using Zoom here, but he was showing me how to use Zoom, and it was good. So these kids don't get too frustrated. They are sharp. They will learn. This is what they have grown up into. So
Mm-hmm.
they will learn. Don't be too caught up in feeling sorry for them. The most you can do is be that moral support. Give them that
Support.
support. Check on them. Make sure everything is okay. Look, if one morning, and I need to whisper this, if one morning they get up and they didn't get enough rest the night before and they want to sleep during class,
Leave them in the bed.
leave them, let them rest. Let them
Right.
rest. Don't pressure them. When they wake up, they're fresh, they go back online. Shh, I didn't
Right.
say
Right.
that.
That's a good secret. I see you pull yourself right up on your computer screen there. That's a good